Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, just looking at maintaining your clippers, standard sort of procedure, standard sort of clippers. Every clipper varies slightly, but these are just your standard training clippers, so it's quite a straightforward process really. Just unscrew the top part of your aspect of your clippers where you can find your blades. You're looking at a comb blade and you're looking at the cutting blade. So gently remove both, and then it's just a case of literally using your little brush, giving them a really good clean. You're looking at moving any excess hair away from your blades to keep them nice and tidy, nice and clean, good working order. So quite thoroughly brush out any of the excess hair. Realistically, you should be cleaning your clippers a couple of times a day really, as they will build up and this could affect the performance and then eventually end up damaging your clippers. So you're looking at doing both sets of the blades. We just worked on the comb blade, often known as a static blade. This part of it is your cutting blade, and that attaches to the motor arm. You can just see inside the clippers. So really good, give them a good brush through. Then you're looking at cleaning up the excess inside the actual clipper head. You get a little sponge part of this. Sometimes it comes out quite easily. Often it's best just to leave it in there. So just work around it, removing any of the excess hair. Use your lever just to kind of move that clipper attachment up and down slightly so you can get underneath. You can see you can kind of get all that excess hair out quite easily. So give it a really good clean. Like we said, do this a couple of times a day just to maintain your clippers. It's good working practice, making sure you've got all the excess out. At that stage, just again check visually, move the arm or the lever up and down a few times, just to make sure that there's no excess hair left inside the clippers before you start to reassemble them. First thing goes on is obviously your cutting blade. That just attaches quite easily to the kind of arm of the motor if you like. And then pop on your comb blade or your static blade. Pop the screws back in. You're looking at doing them up somewhat kind of in the middle just to fasten them a little bit. And then at that stage you can just readjust your arms to the appropriate kind of level. You're looking at realistically the comb blade or the static blade being 1mm further forward than the cutting blade. This will ensure that you don't cut the customer, so it's a safety aspect. If they are unbalanced or unaligned, then the cutting blade then can nip the customer, which could result in obviously a bit of an issue. So just make sure once you're happy, just do the screws up a little tighter. You don't want to go so tight that you can't unscrew them or the blades become too tight. It's a bit of a fiddly process. It's worth getting it right though, so spend a bit of time on just making sure that your blades are good. Visually checking them, so 1mm more forward with the comb blade itself, and as you start to adjust them, just tighten up those screws a little bit, and that will make it easier for you to just realign them. Adjust your arm and your lever somewhat just to make sure that they are correctly in the right position. Obviously you're looking at it being all good at this stage. So again, just tightening them up a little bit more. Right, check them visually. Make sure they're balanced, in line, and like we said, 1mm further forward. If you're happy, then you can start to oil them. You need to oil them quite regularly. Clippers really could do with being oiled pretty much once a day at least. That way they're going to help them to stay in good condition, maintain them. So again, just a little bit fiddly, make sure they're really lined up correctly. And if you're really happy, then at that stage you can then start to move on to the next process. The arms sometimes can become a little bit loose, so just adjust that as and when you feel the need to. It needs to be quite firm. Obviously it's not so loose it just drops, otherwise you'll start to lose that kind of true effect of your clippers and the cutting aspect of it. So just tighten them up a little bit if you need to. So that's good. Alright, once you're happy with that and you've made sure that they're all balanced, nice and tidy, and just give them a final wipe over, quick check, remove any excess hair, any excess oil, move the lever up and down a little bit, and then at that stage then you're looking at sterilising your clippers. Sterilisation takes place after every customer. It's good working practice, so we're using a clippercide spray standard, and that will help.